It's all good.
Love that. All right, we are live. Finally.
Fantastic.
Finally,
Woo!
finally. All right. How are you? How have you been?
I've been a little busy, a little crazy. It's been good, trying to reel from our loss to the Bills, of course, and try to
Ugh.
survive, a couple of specific middle school boys who are like, "Oh, you guys choked."
Oh no. See,
Right?
you know the best way to avoid that is you could always come back to
I
Kansas City. You don't get
could.
that
I
often here.
totally could avoid that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like we have like a handful of Bills fans out here, and one
Oh
of them just
no.
happens to be this child. And yeah. I'm like, win with grace, lose with grace. You ever heard of that child? No. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
exactly.
That's all right. That's all right. I've lived more of life than you
I mean, all right, to be fair though, like when we beat the Raiders, I definitely don't have much grace about it. I'm just like, you guys are awful. We beat you, suckers, and then start doing the little
have.
L
But
dance on them. Um,
totally. But that's like our rivalry with the Raiders. Is it getting there with the Bills then? I mean, I know we're gonna talk about this, but man.
we are,
Ugh.
yeah. Oh
And I hate
goodness.
it, especially like when you're watching a game that you know that like we could have totally won that game. So there's
Right.
that too. But anyways, I know we're gonna get into all of that. How are you, Billy? How's your week?
Doing
How are
well.
things?
Just getting through. It's a little chilly here today, so trying to
Ooh.
survive through and past all of that. We got, like when I woke up this morning, I think it was 25 outside. Is
What?
Yeah. That was a rough one.
25?
25. Yeah.
Oh
Not
my
I'm
word.
not ready for winter. It's.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, you hardly experience fall until you
We
spend the
really
night in
did.
the winter.
Well,
Jeez.
and the funny thing is, like, looking at the forecast for this week, right? So tomorrow's high is supposed to be 56, okay. Today's high was 45. Friday we're going to be back in the 80s. So,
Oh, you have to love Kansas City. Yep. Just wait a minute. If you don't like the weather, just
just
wait a
wait a
few minutes,
minute.
you know?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and that's
Yeah.
funny because that saying applies here too. It's like sweater weather in the morning and regret in the afternoon. Like,
I
I'm sitting out here at my boys' football practice right now, and it's 6 o'clock here, and it's already, I'm like, whoo, it's cold. I'm more than happy to go sit in my car and record this podcast for an hour. Okay.
It's oh darn, oh darn. All right.
Um,
Anyways, I'm going to be running. Yeah.
totally.
See you there.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
So, but
shoot.
yeah, so that's crazy to hear the weather's already chilly and whatnot. But yeah, you're right. It'll jump back, and then you'll have another false fall, false winter, and then it'll be the real
Yeah.
deal. So,
Just rinse and repeat up until January, and then it'll just be horrifically cold
huh.
for 3 months, and then everything will
Hmm.
be back to normal. It's great. Can't wait.
Sounds about right. Sounds about.
Absolutely.
Oh, so
So,
where'd you watch the game?
watched it
Who are
at
you
home.
with?
Yeah. So we watched it at home. I'll go ahead and move this over. Dad and my stepmom came over. So we watched it with them here at our new home. It was good, a lot of fun. I obviously wish the result had been slightly better, but first time having them over, so it was good to see them again. Hadn't seen them since I don't know how to, it's been probably a little bit too long, as I neglect
Oh,
my
wow.
duties as a son. Um,
Oh,
uh, yeah, Kate put together. So we were expecting my entire family to come over. So my dad, my stepmom, my brother, and my sister. My KC family here. And then, of course,
hmm.
both my siblings just bailed. Kate made enough food to feed six
I'm
people,
sorry.
and only four of us were
Ooh.
here. So the scale was avoided Monday morning, that's for sure. Um,
You know, you should just avoid the scale in general.
uh, you
There's
know,
other ways to measure our health, Billy. So,
yeah,
yeah.
you're absolutely correct. especially after eating, I think it was about 6 or 7 cookies that Kate made. Definitely,
Ooh.
definitely a
Well,
good.
what else did you guys have for your tailgate and game
Oh
day?
goodness, what do we have? So we had cookies that she made. She did a spinach dip, a little tomato basil
Mm.
salad. She makes these
Good
things.
salad in there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There was some healthy food-ish. She does these things where she gets like that like pre-made pizza dough, that you get like next to like the biscuits and whatever. Um,
Yeah.
rolls it out flat and then layers on like cheese and meats and then rolls it all up. Makes it almost into like
Ooh.
little hand-sized bite kind of deals and bakes those.
Ooh.
I'm telling those things, I think I ate about my body weight in them. Those are really good.
Oh my
Simple,
God, that sounds really good.
simple and easy, and she just made like a little au jus to go with it that you could dip in. Oh yeah,
Oh my God.
that was good stuff.
Hey, I need the recipe. I want to know, are you actually using pie dough or using actual pizza dough? I need all the details. Kate,
Right.
if you're listening.
Right, right. Yeah, unfortunately
Have
she
Kate
doesn't
reach out
listen to
to me,
these.
Billy.
Although,
Oh,
do you know an Alan DeYoung? Because he just popped up in chat and said hi hung. So, shout out to him in
fantastic,
Queensland.
Alan. Nice to have you.
Yeah, it's a good little a
Love it.
little visit from down under there, which is
Hey,
starting
hey.
to hit
He is
summer.
one of our listeners from Wednesday night's Chiefs chat.
Oh,
So
very
there's
awesome.
that too. So thank you for coming and popping in here.
Yeah, excellent.
I love it.
What
Well,
what about you?
glad to
How'd
hear
you
at least
watch the
your
game?
eats were good.
Yeah.
I watched the game from home as well. I picked up game day eats from this brewery that's a little bit newer for Reno. Picked up some pizzas, picked up wings. Oh gosh, garlic, Parmesan garlic tater tots. Oh my gosh. And then they're the Schussbum fries, and it is pulled pork, fries, and onions and cheese. Oh my God, it's delicious. It's delicious.
That sounds really good. Dang.
My child just had a really great tackle over there. He was against a guy a kid who normally plays our offensive lineman, and my boy is smaller, and he like grabbed hold and tackled low and grabbed hold, and all he had was an ankle, and he did not let go.
Did
So
not let go at
clapping it up
all.
over there. That's the way to do it when you're the little guy.
Yeah, right. Oh man.
Just
Yeah, you
teach
want to
them
talk
patience.
about yeah, it's he needs to get out there and teach some of that Chiefs defense how to tackle it
Oh,
sounds.
yeah. So,
Oh man.
so yes, I apologize for jumping off real quick there, but when I'm sitting here observing the boys practice, so that's
Gotta cheer
notice
him
the
on.
little thing.
I get
Oh
it.
yeah, there we
Absolutely.
go. So, but yeah, so game day eats, we had delicious foods and everything. Just yeah, maybe our players ate a little too much and we're a little bit sluggish on the line and a few other places.
No doubt. We're obviously
Oh,
missing the voice of Raw. He is a little bit
are
delayed by
y'all?
work-related things. I think he's doing this strategically. He doesn't want to talk about the Chiefs having lost. He's waiting to come in until we've moved off of it, and then he can start talking about the happy things. Sounded like he
Yeah,
had a
see?
pretty exciting game day experience himself. So
Yeah, I need a new experience too. So we can't wait to hear all about it whenever he is able to hop on and join us. So right now you'd get Billy and I, but this is State of the Kingdom. And we're definitely going to talk about the State of the Kingdom currently after that loss to the Buffalo Bills and
Buffalo
going into
Bills.
this week 6 against the Niners. Woo.
Absolutely. All right. So the Bills put up some highlights onto our little slideshow here. The first and coolest thing that I saw actually about this game, and it wasn't about the game itself, more the broadcast. This ended up actually being CBS's most watched NFL game in the last 15 years.
Wow, I love that.
25.4 million individuals tuned in to watch this game. It's
That is amazing.
pretty crazy to think about. And so you kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier. It's something that we've gone ahead and started to throw into here. Rob brought it up in our chat. Is this a next great rivalry to come up? I think
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
would say so. I think we've seen hints of that coming, have we not already? We've talked about this before. I think that we've discussed that these two teams of ours and the Bills um, are the teams to watch in the AFC, and we're going to go head to head for quite some time.
I was thinking about this a little bit more. My initial gut reaction when Raw brought this up is this a rivalry? It was a little negative. I'm not going to lie, because when I think of rivalry in football, I think of like our hatred, or like, and I don't want to say genuine
Mm.
hatred, but our dislike of the Raiders, our dislike of the Broncos.
Uh-huh.
It's like we watch the Raiders, we watch the Broncos on TV or in these primetime games they somehow continue to get, and like I watch it to watch them lose, right? But when I'm watching the Bills and they're
Right.
not playing the Chiefs, I love to see them play because they're a great team.
Yeah.
So my
Yeah.
gut reaction to like rivalry is like, oh no, but then I have to remember like, okay, rivalry doesn't have to be negative. Is this going to
Hmm.
be the oh gosh, is this going to be the Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson kind of rivalry? Is this going to be, these rivalries that come up? What was it in baseball? Sammy Sosa versus McGuire. It's like where
Right.
we're not watching it because we hate one of the others, but because we're here to see them push each other to greatness. And
Yeah.
if that's the kind of rivalry that's going to be coming out here with Mahomes versus Allen, sign me up.
There we go. There
I
we
don't know
go.
if you mentioned this already, but I feel like you
Oh,
mentioned the obvious one. Manning, Brady Manning,
Brady Manning, that's a great one
Brady
too
yep.
Manning,
in football, absolutely.
That
And
is a good one.
AFC rivalry. This is, you remember how a couple years ago, it was thought that Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes would be that, and then it was thought that
Yes.
Deshaun Watson, Mahomes would be that. But I think this is that the most accurate comparison. These two quarterbacks right now are the most accurate
Hmm.
comparison to that rivalry.
I can totally agree with that, absolutely. And I
Yeah,
like that. And welcome, and welcome.
yeah,
Yes. I'm
yeah.
like,
I
wait,
just,
I know that voice. Wow.
it's
Is
like,
this
hold
for
on,
real? Is this you typed
I
this in?
recognize this.
I'm here somehow.
Hi,
We made
Rob.
it. Hey, how y'all
Good
doing?
timing.
Perfect timing.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
good. How are you doing?
I'm here. I'm here. It's been a
All
week.
right.
It's been a
All
week.
right. He's here.
We're
Well, we
keep.
can continue discussing this rivalry here, but yeah, no, I hear you, Billy. I think that that is very valid and accurate because here's the thing too. Like, if we're, for example, like our rivalry that we had with the Patriots, for a long time, especially when Tom Brady was there, I would never cheer on the Patriots if we were not playing them.
Hmm.
Ever, never, ever, 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 ever. Anybody but the Patriots, right? Like, I would probably cheer on the Raiders over the Patriots. Oh my lord. Um, but is with the Bills, yeah, they are a great football team. They've got good people on their team. Josh Allen's a likable dude, you know? So it's hard to not cheer for them when we aren't playing them. But I think there is a rivalry aspect because two great teams playing each other. Great teams. Like two just very talented quarterbacks. Talented in the are all all phases of the game, and yeah, we're going to it's going to be us or them every year, probably representing the AFC for a long time to come, unless something else happens. So, but
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely a rivalry, and it can be interpreted differently, just like the examples that you already mentioned, and then the ones that Rob brought up. So, yeah, rivalry, we're getting there.
Yeah, there's divisional rivalries, and then I think CDOT said it best yesterday on the drive. There's rivalries where like these two teams are competing for the same thing. Like,
Hmm.
yes, the Raiders are rivals. There are rivals right now, but can we really say that they're competing for a Super Bowl right now? I would say
I
no.
didn't
Yeah,
want to completely trash him and say that, but I'm glad
But
I'm
somebody
always,
it's
did.
true. Yeah.
the Broncos, no. The Chargers, maybe.
Maybe.
I'm not sold this year. I mean, last year, yeah, they were doing their thing. This year, I don't know yet. Don't know. But what is their record? Actually, I'm very curious.
I
Um,
think they're 3-3, if I'm recalling correctly. That
yeah,
Wait, I'm
okay.
sorry. Are we
might
talking which team?
The
Chargers.
Los Angeles Chargers. Yeah,
After last night, I think they went up to 3-3, or because they're not 4-2, they might be though. And if
I
they're
thought
this,
they were. My girlfriend was like, "Haha, we're tied with you guys right
well,
now." I'm
then they
like, "Oh
probably
Lord."
are.
are
Yeah,
they
it's like, well,
really?
yeah, yeah. You're not tied until you beat us, and you're like, get out of here.
I was like,
Oh man,
Yeah, so
"Yeah."
they
they
are
are
four
four
and
and two.
two. Yeah,
Yeah, 3 game winning streak. Okay, so okay. I mean, they may be in the conversation too. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they played the Broncos.
yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, we haven't played the Broncos yet, so.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, Alan in chat brings up a good point. What's going on with these primetime games, and why is a game like the Chiefs versus the Bills not flexed to primetime? Just, the
Yeah.
fact that it wasn't already in a
Uh-huh.
primetime slot, I get it. I get it. Not, it's you want to broadcast the
Mm,
Cowboys Eagles because that's a pretty solid rivalry too. I know it's not around here.
Sure.
Raw, you can probably speak to it better in your area, but
yeah,
um,
I mean, I get it. Well, go ahead and finish your point. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, how is it like in the summer, when they're putting together the schedule, they're thinking it's acceptable to put the Chiefs versus the Bills, the greatest AFC rivalry right now, on a 3 o'clock slot on
Yeah.
Sunday when you have Thursday night and Monday night to populate. There's tons of
Hmm.
politics, there's tons of rules and all that kind of stuff that plays into it, which explains it. But the Chiefs have 5 primetime games this year, and you're telling me the one that's left out of those 5 primetime slots is the Chiefs versus the Bills? That's kind of wild.
Kind of wild because it's
Yeah.
not like we
Yeah.
didn't know last year like how these
Right.
teams were going to look this year, right? You know what I'm saying? Like we knew these
For
teams were going to
sure.
come. They're going to be juggernauts. If you're asking me about this particular week, why between these two, Cowboys Eagles is the prime time.
Yep.
It's Cowboys Eagles.
Yeah.
It's more of a historical rivalry. Like it's
Yeah.
both of those
It's a
fan
different
bases
type
travel.
of, yeah.
It's a different type of rivalry.
Right.
It's what Chiefs Raiders should be, but isn't right now. You know what I mean? Like it's one
Right.
of those type of things, and they're always gonna, Jerry's gonna be get that spotlight for that stuff like that. So it made sense, like why
Hmm.
that game got the primetime spot. It was a bad beat for them. The Eagles are now what 6-0,
6-0.
6-0. I
Yeah.
don't look now.
All the New
Uh,
York teams are faring pretty well.
oh my
So,
boy.
y'all remember in the beginning of the season, how we talked about the Eagles could potentially be legit, and I kept saying I wasn't sold, I wasn't sold, I wasn't
Well,
sold.
I mean, yeah, we all three of us looked at the power rankings where they were like 1, 2, or 3, something like that, and just
Uh-huh.
kind of laughed at it.
Uh-huh.
I think we did. You're right. We were. I was just
We
like,
did.
okay, yeah. Look who we were
Well,
like. Who did they
I
play?
have a
You know what
change
I'm
of
saying?
heart. I've been sold.
I don't know if okay. I'm sold that they're good. Like I'm sold that they're
Uh huh.
good. I think they're a good team. I
Mhm.
think they'll make the playoffs.
Mhm.
Do I think okay, this is like a lock for the Super Bowl? I'm
No,
still not sold on that. I'm
hell,
still not
heck
sold
no.
on
Yeah.
that.
And so I know we'll be
Yeah.
covering that on our next topic of discussion here, but yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, yeah, it won't be flexed into the Sunday night game when the Sunday night is Cowboys Eagles, and both teams have a great record too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just next year if you're going to give us a Chiefs Bills game, put it somewhere prime time. It's kind of crazy. So
Yeah.
we'll see. It's a good kind of rivalry. I think that's
Yeah.
a great place for us to land on that. Is like this is the kind of rivalry that 20 years from now there'll be a 30 for 30 on it. There'll be um, people talking about talking to their kids like it's like we grew up watching these guys, or we were watching these guys in their
Yeah.
prime. They'll all have missed out on it. They'll be on to the next rivalry at that point in time. But man, it's great that we get this one.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well said.
Um, My point two will surprise everybody who's a frequent listener of the podcast here. I don't know how much you all remember looking at the slides, but hey, look, we missed another kick.
What? Billy has
Bruh.
a problem with the kicking?
I
Get out of
believe
here.
Yeah.
if I'm
Really?
recalling correctly, week 6, every single game we've had, we've missed one PAT or field goal.
Hmm.
It's kind of crazy, and we have
And
Butker back this week.
it is crazy. We have Butker back. And I was going to say, do we attribute it to the fact that this is the first game back? Do we give him some grace? Do we give him some leeway?
Yeah. I mean,
I mean, he
No,
did set
no,
a new
no.
record,
I
too.
will
So
yeah.
not.
there's
So he
I
that.
did. He did. He
exactly.
did set a record.
I will not give him leeway because 5 minutes before he kicked a 62-yarder, and then that was a 44-yarder that he missed. It's not like he was trying to kick another 62-yarder against the wind. He went and kicked a 44-yarder and whiffed that one. So
Billy's over here like, you had one job. Kick the
one
ball through the
job.
uprights.
He
One job.
he was on the field for 6 plays and missed one of his. I mean, yeah, it's I can it's just frustrating to me too. Right? It's not even my whole thing against kickers. It's just like that was an opportunity for us to put points
So
on the
these
board that
guys.
could have changed the outcome of this
Yeah.
game. And
Sure.
our all-star kicker here, Butker, who just made a 62-yarder, setting a record at
Hmm.
Arrowhead for longest goal kicked at Arrowhead, and misses a kick. And I mean, you don't know what kind of impact that has on the game. Instead, if you ask me to do this all again, go for it. It was like 4th and 3 or something like that. Go for it. You know?
Uh-huh. Go for it. Exactly. Exactly. And go big or go home. Yep, I agree that those points definitely could have helped us tremendously. So there was that area, the Jody Fortson touchdown that got called back on account of the penalty. So there are a couple of these combinations, and so we can definitely find those areas. So I don't feel like I am as harsh on kickers and Butker as Billy is, because I don't mind kickers. I don't mind kickers. So
Right.
so
No,
there's that part of it.
I'll, yeah, you
but
know me.
but
I mean,
yeah, so there are other areas, definitely areas. So yeah, missed points there, missed points from penalties, of course, and the holy cow, the flags in this game. So there was that too.
I think this is one of those games. I mean, penalties always hurt, but this is one of those games that that's what was the most crucial, like these mistakes.
hmm
Where we had what, three turnovers and Buffalo had zero.
we had 2
Is that right?
interceptions. Did we
Yeah.
fumble the ball too and lose it? I can't remember.
We had two picks. Yeah.
No, I don't.
I know.
The
I
picks
know we had at
were.
least, yeah, the 2 picks for sure. Especially that last one that hurt. He was clearly trying to
Oh.
force something. He forgot he was playing against arguably the best defense in the NFL,
Oh.
and just threw a silly ball.
Trying to
Um,
work a little Mahomes magic, though.
right.
That's what he
He's
I
trying.
don't
does.
know.
That's
Yeah.
what he does. What makes him? That's what makes him great. I mean, it doesn't always work. Like we've seen him
But
make
y'all, it was
some
so
boneheaded plays
crazy,
before,
wasn't
but
it though?
yeah.
That moment of like you still had faith with like about a less than a minute to play, and the second that INT happened, you're like, oh, we done.
Yeah.
All I can see is his face, his expression, and like, yeah, that I didn't really get the chance to tell you about my watching experience. We can get to that at some point,
Mm.
but yeah, you could
Hmm.
just tell by his face it was done.
It was
Oh,
a little bit of a headache there. Absolutely. And he knew, you could see like just by his reaction, plus, the replays, the second
It's a
that ball
meme
leaves his
now.
hands, he knew, he's like,
Yeah,
okay, all right.
yeah,
And then he just, walked off, didn't even try
yeah,
to fight it, didn't look
yep,
for a flag anywhere. He
nope,
knew he messed up.
nope.
And
it's a meme
respect to that.
now.
It's a meme.
He knew the way that Butker knew that that field goal, record-setting field goal of his was going in. Like he
Mm.
turned his back before it even went in.
It's,
So back to kickers because Billy loves them so much. I just had to throw that in
it's
there.
I'm at some point in this next summer, I'm going to take a 2-hour block of a podcast and just, I mean, go to town on it. I'm going to keep threatening this. It's
Oh
going to be
my
great.
gosh.
I'm so
Okay.
excited.
All right. All right. We'll have a
Hi,
few listeners here for it.
welcome, Holly. Yes, this is a fairly new channel. We've this channel's been up for about 5 weeks now. It's been since the start of
Yeah,
the season.
4, 5 weeks, yeah, somewhere
Yeah.
around there.
Is that
Um,
Holly?
Holly, yeah, it's where we broadcast the podcast. Um, I think one thing that really hurt me this week, not just because it impacted one of my parlays that didn't pay out, is Kelsey getting 0 touchdowns. Uh,
Yeah.
the
After
Bills,
four the week before.
after for the week, yeah, and I mean, let's just
Oh.
completely try to ignore the fact that last week I played Kelsey in both of my fantasy games, and this week I didn't at all. So that was great timing. Um, no, the Bills figured it out. The Bills figured out how to stifle this defense by or our offense by shutting down Kelsey and then making the receivers win their one-on-ones, which when it's Tyreek Hill, that's fine because Tyreek just got that speed that can beat anyone. No one on our team has quite that speed, so their defensive backs are able to, match up a little bit better, just that little bit much better, and prevent us from being able to run up the score. Unlike, when Kelsey's able to abuse a defense, then it opens up our receivers a little bit better, and that all just, flows, cascades down. So, that was tough to see. Like Kelsey was taken out of this game, I feel.
Yep. No better
The
way to
game plan
say
for
that.
it.
He totally was taken out of the game. The way that we would, I think, like, and I hate to compare it back to like a Tyreek Hill thing, but like the way that Tyreek would be removed from a game, you know? So
Hmm.
the coverages on Tyreek that we used to see, the double coverage, the triple coverage, and he would completely be removed. So, yep, he had a few clutch receptions for us that were massive and much needed and created momentum, of course. But in
Hmm.
terms of him being able to get into the end zone, not happen. Did
Yeah.
not happen.
It's like the Bills defense watched the Raiders not cover him in the red zone, and they're like, you know what we should do? Not that. And then they didn't do that, and look what happened. We won, or they won, and then we lost. So that was a good way to screw that one up there, huh? But props to Juju for his first touchdown. I completely and totally missed it, which was awesome. Caught it on the replay. I
hmm
mean, that little spin move, I love that. That was great.
Beautiful.
It was beautiful. Absolutely.
Yes, very much so. But yeah, no, finally, right? Very, very excited for him to have that there. So I feel like it was a little bit more of an exciting game for Juju. So hopefully we'll just keep seeing that ramp up and continue to be so.
I feel like this is what we've wanted out of Juju the entire time, and for whatever reason, we haven't seemed to have gotten it. Now he's our team's leading receiver other than Kelsey. Has a lot of catches. He's pulling in catches. He's not making mistakes. Something about this game though, and I don't know if you all would agree, just felt a little bit different. With his play style, and maybe it's because all that focus was on Kelsey that Juju got a little bit more freedom to do his deal, and he showed up. He did a great job.
He did his thing. Yeah, this is what we've been wanting from him. He's gotta keep it up. Like one game, not enough. That's not why we got him. He was what arguably the number one in Pittsburgh. It's not what we're asking for here, but we're still asking for more than I believe we've gotten from him so far. I know he's coming off an injury, but still.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So hopefully we get a little bit of repeat of this, I guess. Who knows if we will or not. Uh, Fingers crossed. I don't know.
Fingers crossed. Well, that brings us to like the next aspect. How about the run game
Yeah.
this last week?
Sorry, what run game?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, can we hint the sarcasm there? Yeah. What run
So
game?
in
Yes.
our yeah, I was gonna say in our four wins, we've averaged 128 yards on the ground. In these last two losses, we've averaged 68 yards. So that's been a very key factor in our wins and loss column. The run game. Then we've always had problems with uh, how Andy uses the run game, but clearly, like when we use it effectively, like it works. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it work. Like
Yeah.
clearly when we use it right, it works. But one thing to note about it is the Bills' defense is really good against the run as well. So that
Yes.
that
Yes.
can't be ignored.
Second in the NFL, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the run game. So got to accommodate for that. The Raiders though aren't, and we did quite a bit better, but and then you said Indy, we also got about 60, 68 yards. Is that right?
hmm
And they didn't even have Darius Leonard going, so they still figured out how to stop the run against our great pass offense, and that trickled into our other loss of this season. Do you think it's an issue with our offensive lines not doing enough to help, like CH, McKinnon, and Pacheco, or is it that those guys aren't running behind our line
Oh,
correctly? Is it a combination of everything? I mean,
I did feel like our offensive line did not play up to the level that they are able to play this last week. I don't feel as though um, Orlando did as well as he could, and if that's the case, we are more than for with the forethought of not paying him all that money at the beginning of the season, right?
mm,
So you can see that. So yeah, I don't feel like they played very well. I will say that though, your favorite name to say, Isaiah Pacheco.
I'm
He
finally
had
mastering it.
good, good. I'm glad to hear that. He had a run, and every time I see him run, I'm like, we need to utilize him more. He runs hard. He is such a powerful running back that I wish that we would utilize him a little bit more. Don't get me wrong, I love what Clyde Edwards-Helaire is doing this season so far,
Hmm.
because it's more along what we've expected of him coming out of college and being drafted by us. But at the same time, you cannot disagree that Isaiah Pacheco is a very, very, very strong, powerful running back, and he can take those hits, and he's like big and blocky enough that he can deliver it too, just to get
Mm.
through and break through a few tackles here and there as well. So,
I think they said he's
offensive line not doing as
5'11".
well.
Yeah, he's like
Uh huh.
5'11", 240, 245. And I mean, yeah, I bet his, body fat counts in the low singles there. He's built. So I think you're absolutely right. I would love to see them start feeding him a little bit more. I wonder if they've tried to reduce his overall touches on the offensive side because he is also responsible for our kick returns. They're probably worried about his workload. Plus, being a rookie, all that factors in. I mean, if I had to pick, get rid of him on kick returns then, let Sky go handle that or, somebody else and start upping his reps on the offense because he seems to be the one who, CH is doing great. You're absolutely correct. And he's making fantastic second efforts, better this year than I've seen him do last year, it seems. But Pacheco does that too. And so, you get that
Hmm.
1-2 punch of those guys going in, and then you bring in McKinnon for those, receiving down yards or when you need somebody with the real speed, because it seems like McKinnon's the faster of the three. Uh, we have zero excuse behind the offensive line we have with those three running backs to not be putting up at least 100, 120 yards every single game on running. And when we're not doing that, we're losing.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I think it's so important for us to better utilize that run game,
Hmm.
implement the run game. It plays such a big part in our in the outcome of the game. So whenever we do not utilize it for a certain portion of the game, it truly affects it. And so I hate to see that, especially with something where you're like, okay, we have a lot of running backs. We have some great running backs. Let's utilize it. Let's
Well,
utilize
yeah.
them.
And not just that, I mean, we have fantastic blocking tight ends, and Gray and oh no, why am I forgetting his name? Oh my goodness.
Are you talking about the tight ends?
Yeah,
Noah Gray, Jody Fortson, Blake
for
Bell.
yeah, those guys are fantastic at blocking. We have, a fullback on our roster. We're one of what, five
Yeah,
teams in the NFL that has a fullback on our roster. Like
right.
we're set up to have a fantastic running game. It almost feels like, Bieniemy and Reed are forgetting, you know, how to use that a little bit better. Just because we do have, Mahomes in here, and what
Hmm.
not only was Mahomes given the ball and the responsibility there, I think he was also our leading rusher in this game this last weekend too, or he was, right up there. And when somebody who like Mahomes is having to lead the team in rushing, you
Yeah.
see that at the Ravens and the Bills, but that's because they don't really have either a running back by committee like the Chiefs do, or they don't really have a designated running back who can, carry that kind of load. And so that, and then Jackson and Allen are great on their feet too. So you're like, okay, well, we don't need to really worry about running backs because we have two quarterbacks who can run. We'll just let them run. We don't need to do that with Mahomes, and yet we still do. It's kind of crazy. So that's just it's just rough, you know. I also I think we all grew up with the '90s Chiefs where it was the run game and we didn't know what passing was, so we probably all
Right,
channel that and miss
right.
that a little bit. uh,
Probably
90s,
so. Now we have to find a balance.
right.
mid 2000s, all
Yeah.
yeah.
And that one year
Early
where we went without
2000s.
throwing a touchdown to a wide receiver even and we still made it
Golly.
to the playoffs, like but take me back to
Oh
those days
my
sometimes.
God. Yes. That is,
That
I
was
blocked that out of my mind. Yeah, you're right.
right. We talked about the interceptions already, so we can probably skip back that. The one thing, though, I do really want to talk about, and this is not game related, but Raw, you did bring it up to us in the chat, the contract restructure for Kelsey. Who do you think they're making that $3 million of room for? Who are we
Oh,
going to try to bring in?
OBJ.
No.
That's my hot take. Put
No.
it. Keep the
We're putting
receipts.
that. All right, we're putting that in keep the receipts.
Keep the
So,
receipts. We're
oh
going for
no.
OBJ.
Oh man. Oh goodness gracious. Yeah. So all right, Raw and OBJ wearing
So,
Chiefs colors.
oh my God. So
We're
yes, I've
going.
heard the OBJ rumors. I've also heard CMC rumors. I don't know. It would be great if we could get some defensive help. Our secondary is hurting, hurting.
See, I that's why I think we're going to go for a secondary trade. I don't think CMC will happen because we'll have to give up at least two first rounders in order to get him,
Right. Too
plus
much.
some more.
Hmm.
We're gonna, yeah, they're gonna want what we got for Hill, and we won that Hill trade. I don't want them to win a trade against us. Uh, CMC is great. The problem is, if we end up going out there and spending two first rounds and a third round and a fourth round and all that kind of stuff,
Hmm.
within 3 snaps of CMC playing for us, he's going to get hurt again because that's what
Cousins.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
CMC is not CMC right now.
no.
I feel like he
Exactly.
hasn't been
Yes.
in the last couple of years, to be honest.
He hasn't. And yeah, no, exactly. He is so injury prone. Would not want to pick him up. I would not want to waste, capital and trade potentials by grabbing him. I feel like what we have within our running back committee is going to be sufficient in doing what we need to do with the run game.
Exactly. Yeah. Like the difference he would make up, even if he was in his prime, wouldn't be worth what we have to give up and then lose in future rounds of the draft. So, I would rather see us go for OBJ. That's also I don't want to go for OBJ, but uh, I'd rather see him wearing Chiefs colors. I agree though. What Hung, you were saying secondary. Let's see some
Hmm.
action
Well,
in the
the, th-
secondary.
the thing about the OBJ thing, and like it might be a reach. I know, like yeah, we've seen like different articles and stuff. I know we're on his list, right? Um, like, are we really that content with like MVS, like all those, some of the guys we have? Are we
Hmm.
that confident that Sky Moore is going to become what he needs to be this year? Like, we probably still need some help at the receiver.
And the one good thing about OBJ too is like we can easily bring him in to play that role of like, okay, you're going to be here for one season. We're going to pay you the $3-4 million that we have left in our cap, and then you're gone.
And
You're
he's
here.
finally accepted that
Yeah,
role. Like
uh-huh.
I was just saying, because he used to, OBJ for a long time wanted to be the one, and I've always thought he was just kind of an average receiver. He had that one amazing catch, the Giants Dallas game, and that's like elevated his, status. But he's not the number one. And I don't think he's even trying to be the number one anymore. Thunder Dan says no. He said no. OBJ. He said hard pass on that.
I you know
Hi, Danilo.
I I can't blame you at all. Yeah, I don't want OBJ either. I think MVS is doing just fine. He's our second leading receiver.
Yeah.
I think Sky, the only reason we even have question marks about him is one because of what happened in the indie game with the punts, which we shouldn't judge him offensive capability wise off of special teams play, but also he just hasn't been used as much. He gets targeted twice a game. One's always going to be a missed pass, and one maybe he catches it for 5 yards. The second he starts getting more targets, he gets a little more of those advanced routes, starts plugging in for the top three, our three guys. I think Sky will
Hmm.
show us what he's capable of. Um, he's just a bench player right now, and that's what it's going to be when in front of you is Hardman, Juju, and MVS, and that's fine. It's just there's also a huge chance that one of those three goes down for the year because all three of them have some. Well, Juju and Hardman at least
Right.
have some injury problems, especially Hardman lately. I don't know what's going on with his ankles or whatever. He's suffering
Hmm.
some. So one of those guys goes out for an extended period of time, and next man up, that's Sky Moore. I don't think we need OBJ to plug that in.
No, because you get OBJ in one play and he gets injured, then what?
Right, right.
So I'm okay with our receiving core as is,
Hmm.
which I'm okay because again, I really feel like we could if we clear that money, I feel like our secondary really needs that help.
I agree. Somebody who can be a role player, somebody who can be that nickel or that dime back, somebody who can just plug and play. We don't need somebody to be a starter. We don't need them taking 80 to 100% of the snaps and all that. We have those kind of leaders already in our secondary. We just need somebody who can help us out that little bit more, I feel.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Hey, also at the end of the day, we got Brett Veach, so he'll probably end up signing some left tackle that'll replace Orlando Bloom and play
But
better
isn't
than
that
him, and we'll
crazy?
just be
Like
like, okay.
them clearing this money already, you know that they've got, and it always, I'm like, okay, who does he have pegged? Who does he have in mind already?
Yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah, yeah, because
to be a fly on the wall.
he got the player before he went to Kelsey to restructure. I bet,
Right.
you know.
Exactly.
And so we're going to see
Exactly.
sometime this week a name announced, and it's going to be something that none of us expect, I'm sure too, and then it'll end up being our MVP of the season, maybe. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I love about
Oh,
this.
Yeah, and to Holly's point, he just needs more time. It's too early to judge Sky Moore. I mean, I'm willing
Absolutely.
to give him some rope. I think we were maybe, in retrospect, a little unfair to McCole because he was supposed to be the Tyreek replacement at the
Mm.
time. Um,
hmm.
what he's doing now, I now he's had enough rope. There where it's like, okay, what are
Yep.
you gonna do, McCole? But we were kind of on him from the beginning. But Tyreek was a gadget guy at one time. Remember that?
Mm.
So fifth
Yes.
Absolutely.
round gadget guy. So give it
Yeah.
time. Yes, our ex Dolphin receiver. We do bring him up sometimes
We
here.
do bring, and Dan brings up the great point too of Watson. Do we see some more of Watson playing in here? Maybe.
Yeah.
I think the thing we have to really be looking at when it comes to our receiver core overall and any of the disappointments we have is like this is a completely different receiver core than even last year. The only returning player is Hardman, right? Like,
Hmm.
Mahomes still got to build that chemistry. So we've seen that, this last game, Juju finally gets his touchdown. We need MVS to get his now. See that confidence build and grow. More and more teams are going to be dropping that double and triple on Kelsey, really covering them as much as he can. So we need those guys to step up, and I think we're on the right path for that. All right.
For sure, sure.
Well, other than that, though, any other thoughts about the Bills Chiefs?
I had a
I
terrible
wish you would
watching
have won.
experience.
Do we want to talk about your watching
Oh,
experience now? I want
yeah,
to hear
yes,
I
I
mean,
this.
do, because I don't want to dwell on all the other things. But yes, tell us about your watch experience. What
well,
happened? What went
I just,
down, Raw?
I just realized I was old. Like that's what happened. Like
Wait,
I
wait, wait,
chose.
wait, wait, wait. Repeat that one more time for all of us who are old and maybe did not hear that clearly.
Uh, me. I've had a ton of injuries, but this is where I really felt like an old man because the place I chose to watch it at was like one. Okay, it's a place. It's a alleged sports bar, but they didn't. I couldn't hear the game at all. I watched it. It was on a big screen, but there was no sound. They were playing very hard trap music the whole time.
Trap
Very
music.
trap music.
Okay.
So Future, like anybody, anyone you want to throw in that conversation. I invited some friends. Had my friend brought his kid and everything. And then around like 5 p.m., the Ass Cheeks came out. So I was like all the waitresses, all came out in thongs and stuff. And there's like this little 5-year-old with
Where
us and everything.
were you? Were you
I,
at what
I don't know if I want to say the name, but it's just like this was not. Yeah, I've been trying to
was this
find
an
new
adult
spots.
bar you were at?
No, 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 it wasn't. I didn't
Was there
think, but it
dollar
was close
bills on the
enough.
floor?
There were sparklers. There were sparklers.
You mean like glitter?
Like bottle service, all that stuff, like that stuff.
Oh,
Like I
and you
prefer.
didn't know what you were getting yourself into. No
No,
idea.
I knew they had big
Huh.
TV screens and was like, this could be a good place to watch a game. If it's not the Cowboys, they don't play the sound. Like, nope. I'm just
Were
like,
you
oh.
asked if you wanted strawberries and champagne?
We did have champagne. We did have champagne. So yes, that did happen.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, Raw. I
But
cannot
anyway,
believe this.
I'm an old man. The next week I'm gonna be watching it at my house. This was too much excitement for me.
Well, well, live and you learn.
Yep.
Billy, you have nothing to say in response to this? I'm like, I'm waiting for you to say something magically smart.
I don't know if he's still here. Is he still with us?
You there?
Didn't
Did he
I?
get
Oh my
disconnected?
God! It was muted this
Oh,
entire time.
Oh, okay,
oh,
okay,
okay.
Oh man. Yeah, I was making comments. Now I feel.
Darn
okay.
it!
It's all good. It's all good.
That sucks.
Well,
Oh,
Rye, I wish I could have seen a snippet of your face when you realized, this is not quite the sports bar that it was made out to be.
You'll see what's up next week.
I'm just imagining the sparklers coming out and knowing exactly what Raw would look like when he sees the sparklers. He's like, "Oh no,
Right
I've
in
made
front
a
of the
horrible."
screen. Right in front of the
Yeah,
screen.
yeah. He's got these waitresses, dressed all, up and up, and he's like, "Can you
With
scoot
the
out of the way? I'm trying to watch the game here." And like, man,
the
Raw, you've
only Chiefs
changed.
fans there. Yeah, it was rough. But anyway, what do we have next?
All right.
Well, no, last
Oh,
one the Bills Chiefs that I want to mention because
mm,
Holly mentioned it too. Because last year in Week 5 in the regular season, we also lost to the Bills. So this year losing to them in a much tighter, closer game that definitely felt that feels good, of course, to be able to keep it that tight. I don't think that either side performed offensively as well as they could have. So it was very much not as high scoring as I think we all thought. Apparently, I last week, wink, wink, thought that the Bills were going to win 60-0. By the
yeah,
way,
we got to talk
thanks,
about
guys.
that. We got to talk
Yeah,
about that,
what
Hong. I
was
mean,
that
what was with
about,
that
Hong?
prediction?
Yeah, well, that's wild.
I don't know. You better ask Hong, whichever Hong you talk to, because that
Okay.
was not me.
So
That
today we
was Hong.
learned
A
that
dupe.
Hong listens to the show when she's away, so we gotta watch what we say now.
Right.
Oh,
Oh my gosh,
Her,
y'all.
her her ears
Oh,
were
that was so
tingling when we were
funny.
bringing that up.
yeah.
So funny.
Oh
All
man.
right.
So no, and then the very last thing I'll say with that is that, if we lose to the Bills in the regular season, but we continue to win against them in the postseason and the playoffs, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Still
the
okay
the
with that.
problem was that we probably just gave Mahomes a little bit too much time at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And we just got to remember now. Next time, let him waste the time clock until there's 15 seconds left, and then send Mahomes out there to go win it. I think that's what we got to just remember.
Right.
Obviously, that will not
Yeah.
backfire ever.
Never.
Never. All right. Do we
Never,
talk about
never.
the rest of the league here?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I think first and foremost,
Touch on a little bit of the weird games.
the official state of the kingdom stance here is we're going to stop giving Denver Broncos games, not just primetime
Yeah.
games, just
Ooh.
games. Period. They're just
Games in
we're
general.
just we're getting rid of them. We're kicking them out of the NFL. Um, I mean, I don't want to know they exist anymore until we play them, so we have those easy wins. It's so bad. Did you guys watch the game at all yesterday?
No, I refuse.
No,
Protest.
no, not at
No,
all.
I actually
Absolutely not.
refuse.
I
I refuse to watch primetime Denver games. Like
I
I do.
I was playing
Exactly.
games with one of my friends who had it on his other screen, and he kept making comments on it. And I'm just like, that sounds exactly like I expected, and I'm out. I mean, holy
Yes.
moly.
What Holly said, let's hide, Denver Broncos. Broncos country. Let's
Man,
hide away from my eyeballs on the
please.
TV screen because oh my goodness. Yeah, no. It's did you then I sent you guys people if you have a chance go look at I mean Russ is getting roasted. Like he's getting roasted all on his social
Oh, yeah,
media.
that tweet
Yeah.
you sent
Man,
us.
That's right.
yeah.
Oh
They were
man,
getting them. They were getting them.
that was
But
Yeah,
fantastic.
Russ
sorry, but
get
he deserves it.
Russ getting cooked.
Russ getting cooked. Man,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to when we get to play them. It's going to be so much fun for us.
Yeah, we haven't even played them once yet.
We
We'll get to
haven't
play
played
them
them once
twice,
yet.
like kind of closely within the season, I think,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah.
It'll be a lot of
Yeah.
So,
fun.
yep, there we go.
There's
Gotta love
there's my
that Monday
60
night,
to
ending it on
yeah.
a strong note.
There's the 60-0
That's the
game.
60-0
Right.
prediction right there. That game.
Yeah, and you better make
Put
sure
it in
you
the
show up.
receipts.
You better make sure you show up for that recording because we will say you called Denver 60
Oh,
to.
dang
Put
it.
it in the receipts.
Uh-oh.
Oh man, I am throwing it in there now. Perfect.
Yeah.
All
Alan, I
right.
respect that. Alan said he only watches Chiefs games. I respect that.
Like, mhm.
Man,
Yes. Okay. Other games.
I
Falcons won.
Falcons,
right?
caught a little bit of that one here and there. I mean, I miss, and I really hope he comes back soon. Cordell Patterson, he makes that Falcons team so much
Uh-huh.
better. But it's kind of cool to, it's crazy to see just these players who I just forgot about. Especially Marcus Mariota, playing the Falcons, and they're not doing too bad. Even in the games they lose them close. It's going to be an interesting one. That NFC, are they the South? NFC South with the Saints, Panthers, Falcons, and
Yeah,
Bucks.
that's NFC South.
I think we're not going to see the Bucks win that division. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else came out
Mm.
king there. Who it'll be, I have no idea. I'm not going to make a Jets
Aw,
call.
we're gonna see the biggest tantrum from TB12.
Oh, and we just saw one.
Man,
I know, that's what I mean. But this one's gonna be the biggest one.
even bigger. He's just
Retired, should
he's
have
gonna
retired.
I know, yeah. He's probably kicking himself for having come back this year after having gotten away with it with the retirement. So
He needs this. Like the only way he's going to retire is if
a
like
season like this, yeah.
it's got to be a season like this. Like think about any of these greats. Like they come back. They stay too long.
Mm,
Kobe Bryant stayed too long. Michael Jordan stayed too long. Like these guys, they got it. They need proof that they
right.
can't do this anymore. They
They
need
need-
physical proof.
They need a physical.
Yep.
The only person what went out on top was Peyton Manning,
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
John
he
Elway,
retired
Well,
right after his Super Bowl win, didn't he? Peyton did.
yeah.
storybook endings. Yeah, it's not the norm actually. Joe Montana came back and became a chief.
Yep.
Man, yeah. No, you're right. I'm thinking about it. Like, frequently, it's like you'll get those occasional stories. Who is the left tackle for the Rams? I can't remember his name even. There's a dude who played for almost
Somebody, Andy
15.
Whitworth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he went out on top. That was great. But then all the other great tackles, or offensive linemen in general, I mean, they stick around for way too long and just end up fading out
Yeah.
into the night. And then, yeah, I can't think of many people who went out right after a Super Bowl win and called it a good, you know? Good call.
It's like, don't you learn from other people? That's called wisdom. When
Right.
you don't make the mistakes, but you learn from other people's mistakes. I mean,
Right. Right.
damn.
Oh man.
I mean, I
Hey,
know the head injuries, so
well, and to be
it's.
fair, we're not quite cashing the same paychecks those guys are. So, you limp along for an extra season for a few
I
million
don't know, Billy.
dollars.
At one point in one of these episodes, I could have sworn I heard you say that you did. So I'm
Oh,
still.
I do remember that as well.
oh man. I wish. One day we'll be there. The grind don't stop.
Oh,
Um,
don't forget about your little friends,
yeah, you're the
okay?
little
Okay.
podcast rooms here. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, yes. Don't forget us.
Um, did y'all catch the
What other
Robbie
big names?
Anderson freak out?
I did.
Oh
Yeah, I saw
my
that.
heavens.
Hmm.
Even if you didn't
Man.
watch the game, it was all over the internet.
And
So,
he got what he wanted too. They traded him within hours of him being able to be
fast.
traded too, straight to the Cardinals.
Cardinals.
I think they got like a fifth round pick in 2023 and a sixth round pick in 2024, or maybe shift those a year.
Hmm.
I'm not quite sure. I'm
I
surprised.
saw.
Oh.
I saw a meme that said, "Bro got traded for a 10th grader." That had me laughing.
Right. Man,
That is crazy.
and I mean the Cardinals panic hopped on that too. I think if they had held out a little bit, they could have gotten an even better deal for him because
Mhm.
Robbie obviously
Yeah,
was done with the Panthers, and they were done
yeah,
with
he was.
him. So they could
Yeah,
have gotten him on even a better sale, but who was it that got hurt at the Cardinals?
and it was a sixth round for 2024, seventh round
That's
2025.
what it was. Yeah. Which is just crazy. But yeah, one of the Cardinals receivers got hurt. It was one of the Browns, right? I can't remember who it was. Um,
Marquise.
Marquise, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
They don't even know what his official prognosis is. They're just so worried about it, that they went out and got Robbie right away. I,
right.
you know, I mean, I think the only thing that's really going to happen is, hey, the new Call of Duty comes out this week. Him and Kyler Murray are going to be playing a lot of Call of Duty together, is all I'm guessing.
Oh my
So,
God.
shoot.
I'll leave this man Kyler alone.
Hey, you know what? If he was winning, I would. He's not winning. They're not doing that good right there in Arizona, that's for sure. But, Yeah. Also, let them play Call of Duty. It's a fun game.
There you go. Well, I'll keep them out of trouble for the most part.
Keep
So
them out of trouble.
anyway,
Yeah, it's hard to have
all right.
DUIs when you're staying at home playing Xbox, right?
Exactly.
The 2-4 Cardinals.
2-4.
Exactly.
I never would have guessed that. You asked me 3 months ago what the Cardinals' record's going to be this far into the season. Never would have said 2-4.
Yeah, the NFC West is weird right now. The rest of the teams are 3-3.
Yeah, that's just one of those divisions that's in a state of flux, it seems. How about them
Well,
Jets? Should we talk about
speaking
my
of,
favorite
I was
team
going to
this year?
say, speaking of teams that are not in flux, well, maybe it is, considering depending on how you look at it. But those Jets,
I mean, they didn't even
wow.
just beat they destroyed the Packers. I watched that game.
Yeah.
I watched. I think it was the first half. I caught a little bit of the second half. But that first half, like, I Aaron Rodgers didn't know what day of the week it was. He was just, I mean, destroyed by that Jets defense, and it was hilarious to watch. Um,
27-10.
27-10. And it's like I think that score is a little misleading. It was a game of two halves for sure. That first half, that thing, I mean, that was just a defensive showcase. I don't think there was even points on the board until 5 minutes left in the second quarter. And it was a field goal.
Mhm.
And they went into the locker room 3-3, I believe. And then, yeah, it just exploded. Brees Hall, I talk about something we all called right here on this podcast is how good Brees Hall has just been for that team. Absolutely outstanding performance.
Balling.
Man. And yeah, Ra's personal hero, Zach Cougar Hunter Wilson, is just,
My boy.
I mean, he's starting to make waves, I think, So.
Amongst the moms. I'm sorry. Wait, what?
Role model.
Oh my
Wait,
goodness.
were we talking football? Or are we
Yes,
talking?
sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
Man. Yeah, no, it's unfortunately I couldn't talk too much smack to Kate's family after the Chiefs losing, but shoot,
Yeah.
So
it's
let
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I,
No, finish with that.
Yeah, no, it's just I mean, like Holly said here in chat, Packers fans are sad right now. I mean, and not only
Oh,
are the
yeah.
Packers doing bad, the Badgers are freaking awful this year too in football. I think they were rated like
Ooh.
sixth coming into the season, and now they're just
Ooh.
like well outside of the top 25. So they're
They
doing
don't even
bad.
rate them. Yeah.
Yeah, the Packers are just doing awful. It's just not a great time. Like everyone's already given up and starting to cheer for the Bucks. They're just like, all right, football's over. We're
And
done.
yet another L for Russell Wilson.
Man,
But
it's.
I was going to ask you, do you think so the Jets, we think they're a threat to the Bills in the AFC East?
I mean, you know my call that I definitely didn't make by mistake and am holding on to
You think
desperately
they're
here.
you think they're winning the NFC East?
I'm gonna keep selling for it. I think they're gonna win the AFC East.
I say AFC. Yeah, AFC East. My apologies.
No, no worries. I think the Jets will actually win it. Like I said it as a joke earlier this year. I mean, yeah. I figured they would be a project team that would come through and sometime in the next few years. They would do good this
Hmm.
year. They would do really great in future years. I at this point I'm convinced that they're going to win the AFC East.
They play each other November 6th.
I'm
So
super
that'll
excited for that.
definitely be a game to key in on.
Hmm
Noon game. Let's
Yep.
see if the Broncos play prime time that week. Because,
Oh
Probably.
Lord.
Just assume so.
you know, right?
Man. Yeah, so it's great seeing the Jets play. A lot of fun there. NFC East, I think this is pretty much owning a permanent spot on our rest of the league slide here.
We're the prime time that week, by the way.
Oh, sweet. Is it
Oh,
against the
good.
Denver
Thank goodness.
Broncos?
No,
Oh
Titans.
Lord.
Titans.
Titans. Oh, good.
Hmm.
Yeah, talk about another team that's just doing fantastic. Man.
Right?
Yeah, NFC East though. I mean, what are we thinking here? I didn't even change this. I just added Redux to it because, are they good? I can't tell.
Yeah,
I still can't
I think we
tell.
can say they're good. I mean, if we look at the other teams in the NFC, like there's not anyone in the NFC West you're real confident about. We just kind of talked about. You guys said the AFC South. You're kind of in on the Cardinal or the Falcons. I'm not. Or NFC South, golly.
Right. We'll
We used to have
we'll
ball
get
back
there
to back like
eventually.
Really
that.
confused for a second
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
But
okay. And go. Sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
well, I was just saying, yeah, it's they look the most solid. I would say top to about midway, not to bottom. Like because the Commanders don't look solid, but
Right.
the other
Yeah.
teams do.
Well, and are we comparing them to last year's NFC East? I
And yeah,
mean, because
that's the other
anything is
thing.
an improvement.
Right. That's the other
So,
thing.
I
They were
mean,
so
looking
bad
at them
last
right
year.
now, right?
Right.
Exactly. It's like everything right now looks like rose glasses. I mean, rose-colored glasses
Yeah.
Right.
compared to what we saw last year. So everything has been a major improvement. So
Right.
of course, I think as a fan, if any of those NFC East teams, you're like, ooh, yeah.
And the only undefeated team in the leagues is there too. So yeah, yeah,
Well,
they're real. They're real for the NFC.
and I
Do I
know,
think they're a
yeah.
threat to anybody in the AFC? No, I think the AFC has the better teams.
Yeah,
So no.
overall,
Yeah.
better talent in the AFC. We
So
talked about it last week. You know, the Cowboys have a great defense. There's a surprisingly good team. I thought this game would be a lot closer. I even thought the Cowboys were going to win. Eagles shut me up, and they did it right. You know, yeah, they could be legit.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
We'll see.
I'm not gonna keep the receipts on this, but like Andy Reid revenge Super Bowl would be
It
amazing.
would be fantastic. Absolutely.
you better type that in there, considering
That's not a receipt. No,
That's
no,
not
no.
where we're holding out
I'm
on
not
that
ready to
one.
make that
yeah,
prediction yet.
somebody
I'm not
else
ready.
will hung the 60-0 Bills. So you know.
Oh, that's crazy. You would even
It's like
think
I still
that.
can't believe you made that call.
Wait,
Man,
rose-colored glasses. Isn't that a figure of speech? Is that not a saying that
it
anyone else
is.
is familiar with?
Rose-colored
100%.
glasses.
It is,
Yeah.
right?
You,
Rose
Rose-colored
you,
glasses.
tinted.
That's
I
what I
think
was
it's
trying to.
tinted, but yeah.
rose tinted glasses. You said rose colored glasses.
Okay,
So
maybe I had a
We know
little
where
rose on the mind.
right.
we know
Uh-huh.
where Hung's mind
Might have
is.
been.
Absolutely. Oh man, give me that rosé.
Anyway, okay.
Anywho,
So, uh, anywho,
man,
What's
yeah.
next? What's next?
So those are the big games I wanted to call out. Are there any games in
mhm.
particular you all saw this week that you want to talk about? The best of the rest here.
Mm, Take a quick look.
We'll
Not in
throw it to the
particular. I don't
chat
think
too.
so.
You know, is there anyone in the
Yeah.
chat that I will say Patriots Browns game. I mean, this third string quarterback, Zappy Zap, whatever, you know, his name's supposed to be.
Ooh,
I one great
yeah.
name too, 38-15. You know, I think everyone was going in hard on the Browns being a decent team this
hmm
year. Uh, boy, you know, they're a pretty big letdown. And it's I mean, you
The
know,
Browns will be good this year. I didn't hear that.
it's I would say the pundits, you know, there was an
Got you.
overall feel, especially before all the, you know, extra Deshaun Watson stuff came out, and it became very clear he
Right.
was going to miss a vast majority of the season. You know, when he was only like going to miss a few games, everyone's like, all right, miss a few, and then they'll pick it up and start playing well. Yeah, that ain't happening.
Mm-hmm.
No. 11. You're at 11, which is still lucky.
It's like, see you later,
Yeah.
bud. You know, well, I mean, I'm sure he's content sitting at home cashing his $1 million. So,
Right?
I don't know.
He's like over there sipping on his rosé. He's not
Right.
mad,
He's
probably.
got his rosé tinted glasses on, that's for sure.
You know what? We're gonna do an embargo on Deshaun Watson discussion on this
Yeah,
podcast.
I'm with that. I'm
Yeah,
with it. I
no,
like
we're
it.
good. We're good. We're good. Moving on. What else,
Moving
guys?
on. Um,
Vikings beating the Dolphins. That's what Holly said. That was one that got her.
that was
Yes. The score was funky too, wasn't it?
24 to
24-16.
6.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
So that was
oh,
They're
sorry.
still on their third string quarterback, right?
Dolphins,
yes, because didn't their backup like his
Bridgewater,
finger got jammed?
yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Bridgewater was out, and then the third string, his finger got jammed or something. I was like, they've got issues.
man,
They've got QB issues.
let's see, maybe Tyreek Hill can throw the ball, huh?
I was gonna say, how's that accuracy over there, Tyreek?
Doing great. I mean, so the Vikings, and they're 5-1. The only game they've lost this
hmm
year was against the Packers in primetime week 2. Are they legitimate or no?
Maybe not.
Uh,
I don't know.
See,
no, because
I'm
I
going with
still
a
want to
solid
wait because I'm
no.
not.
I'm
Yeah.
going with
yeah,
this
Okay. All
for
right.
one reason. Kirk Cousins is what 2-10 in prime time, and you know
Yeah.
what playoff games
Yeah.
are? They're prime
yep,
time.
Prime
So
yeah.
time.
you know,
Big days.
uh,
Bright lights. Yeah. Yeah. Kirk doesn't do very well.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I'm not sold on the Vikings.
I love Kirk Cousins. He's a fantastic
Right.
player. He's way
Do you?
underrated. People, nobody puts enough respect on his name. He's quietly doing great, and he has two absolutely fantastic receivers.
Well,
Um,
okay, he's quietly doing great, but we have to see him quietly and consistently do great.
He just doesn't have that clutch gene, and that's pretty
no,
important with
Yeah.
big time
that's how you win
quarterback.
in January and February is needing that, and he doesn't have that. You're right. Yeah. Um, it's going to be one of those quarterbacks, and I'm trying to think of an accurate comparison because Peyton Manning doesn't quite do it. He's one of those guys who will always win in the regular season and never win in the postseason. And I know we've had quarterbacks like that before. Peyton was kind of like that, where they would constantly be the number one seed in the AFC. The Colts were, and then the second they had to play a playoff game, they lost.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe the Trent Green Chiefs even that kind of era
That
where
God,
we were able to
was
win the
my era.
AFC West, or yeah, we did have the wild card slot. We were good enough to make
Yeah.
it to the playoffs every year, and then we always lost in the playoffs every
Lost.
year. You know,
that's
Oh,
actually a pretty good comparison for
yeah,
the Vikings. Yeah, for this generation Vikings.
absolutely. So for them to ever make it to a conference game with Kirk Cousins at the helm, I don't see happening. I just
right.
also appreciate them doing everything in their power to help make sure the Packers don't make it to the postseason too. So that's always
That's
fun.
fine too.
That's
That's
fine.
fine.
That's all you need to
They
do.
understood the assignment.
They
Yep, exactly.
they understood these. Oh man, we did talk about Robbie a little bit,
Um,
but do we talk about the Rams Panthers? 24-10, Rams winning. Did the Rams win because they're finally back, or did they win because they were playing the Panthers?
It's
no,
good. It's the
exactly.
Panthers. Yeah, no, they're not back.
Yeah, that latter one. There's no
The
doubt
latter
about
one.
that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's not that. I wouldn't say that they're back. They're
No,
not.
I fully agree. The Panthers are in shambles right now. They just need to start wholesaling, which they're going to be doing. They're already. What do you guys think CMC ends up going for, and who does he go to?
Who is
Uh,
hurting real bad in running backs? Who? What team?
didn't they say the Bills want him?
The Bills want
What?
him. I don't think they'll be
Really?
able to get him though. I don't think their back office is willing, or front office, whatever you want to call it, is going to be willing to part with the draft picks that'll be required to get him, and they shouldn't, frankly.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah, yeah. Um,
I'm just trying to think. I mean, and James Conner's been having some issues health wise. I mean, do they just like, hey, you want to package deal Robbie with CMC and give us a few more draft picks over at the Cardinals?
Oh my
Maybe.
gosh.
I could see the 49. I wouldn't be surprised if it is somebody in the NFC West that goes for him because they're
Yeah.
all in a dogfight right now. No clear superior team out of that group. So anyone who can lock up
Right.
a relatively healthy CMC who will perform to some degree. None of them have an
But do
outstanding
they
running back
take,
either.
yeah, but do they take that risk though, especially the 49ers with their laundry list of injuries as is? Do they take that risk on a player who is injury prone at this point? I don't know.
Well, but Hung, here's the problem: is you're thinking about this logically, and they
right,
won't be. They'll be thinking
right.
about, can we eke two more wins out of this so that we can
Yeah,
lock
what
up
gives
a.
them the
True,
edge?
true, right? These trades that happen right about now, yeah, that's exactly what the way that they are thinking. You're right. So I
Right.
mean, why put logic in there?
Right.
Um, but I don't. Yeah. So why not? Go ahead, Niners. Y'all go ahead. I don't know where he lands. I'm not sure where he lands. I worry about that aspect because I'm like, what team wants him? What team wants that risk? And is winning one or two more games this season worth that risk?
Absolutely not. Yeah, I'm 100% with you there.
See? Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why I'll be really mad if the Chiefs end up locking him up for a cost that we
Oh
shouldn't
Lord.
pay.
No,
And I don't think,
secondary.
yeah. Hey, maybe he can play secondary.
Focus on strengthening our pass defense, rush defense, run defense. Let's strengthen those things.
Ooh, okay. Dan threw out a good suggestion in chat.
What do you say?
Package up Frank Clark plus a third and fourth rounder for CMC.
Mm,
I could sign on to that. I think a third and
But
fourth in different
plus a third and
years
fourth.
plus
Mhm.
Frank Clark. I mean, Frank Clark's contract is what is genuinely hurting this team. We get rid of that.
Yeah.
That frees up a ton of cap space for us to then go out and get secondary. I like that. All right, Dan. I like it. I like the cut of your jib there. I'd be okay with that. I don't think it'll happen, but I'd like it.
Right.
less stomach issues.
Less stomach issues.
Right? I was gonna say.
CMC probably has his
Especially with the way
alcoholism under better control.
Yeah.
Oh, he's on a new diet now.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So speaking of
Next
NFC
week?
and the
I was gonna say the Niners, yeah.
We're moving on.
Perfect.
No, the number one point here,
Wait.
guys, come on. The one thing we're all going to be watching next week is the Kansas City Current versus the OL Reign, 6:30 Central Time on CBS Sports. Super excited for this game. I don't know if anything else is happening on that Sunday, so that's what I'll be tuning in for.
Yeah. I mean,
we go.
good for them. I'm gonna be watching the.
I'm going to be watching football.
Billy, I apologize. I'm gonna be with Raw too.
Oh,
on this
man.
one.
Y'all are boring.
I will be watching the Chiefs Niners in a very amazing location, but also with my family who are Niners fans too. So, and then of
Ooh.
course my sister and her husband will be in their Raiders gear, sadly.
That's-
But
ew.
anyway.
Can you leave them back on the mainland while you go to Hawaii?
Right?
I mean, it's just like, come on.
Exactly. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
I'm excited for this game because I'll be watching surrounded by family, and there's nothing better than football and family. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited to watch this game, and I hope we put that pounding and the beat down on the Niners and do it really, really good, and be able to enjoy a victory in
It'd be a
week
good-
6.
It'll be a good bounce back game for us. Yeah, I'm excited for this
Yeah.
too. Not that
Yeah.
the Bills Chiefs game has me worried whatsoever.
Right.
I think that's
Not at all.
winnable. Like once we will probably see them again in the playoffs, right? We'll just have to shore up the mistakes. But this will be a good game to kind of build the confidence back.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
And I'll be watching it somewhere with sound.
And not sparklers.
and not sparklers.
No sparklers. Yeah, no.
All right.
Somewhere where millennials hang out.
Yeah, the old people now.
Yeah.
No. Y'all are just millennials. I am like elder millennial.
Yeah, the boomer.
Exactly.
All right.
Oh no. I'm booming.
All right, let's do our predictions then. Hung, are we looking at 60-0 here? Is that?
Yes,
are we
I was
sticking
going
with
to
that
say
one?
Niners 60-0.
Niners
Thanks, guys.
60-0.
Thanks a lot.
Perfect. You heard it here first. Recorded. We're ending the stream now, so she cannot walk over. All right, what do you got, Hung? What do you got for us?
Okay. I am going Chiefs 34-13.
13. Ooh, okay. Ra?
I'm going Chiefs. I'm gonna go 30
Okay.
to. I'm also gonna go 14. I don't think they get in the end zone very
I
much.
said 13. You can't say also. I said 13.
Oh, you said 13. I'm going 14.
Okay.
Oh man, I love that. All
All
right.
right, Billy. What says you?
Oh man. And you see, my problem is whenever I say a high number, the Chiefs don't get anywhere near that.
Right.
But also, I want there to be a high number.
On a 40 burger. Oh,
Yeah.
Dan says a 40 burger.
Yeah,
I'm-
Dan's got a 40 burger in the chat.
I'm going.
44,
You know
21.
what? Funny enough, I have this actually written down. I don't have 44. I wrote 45-21. You know what?
Oh,
I'll say
okay.
that.
All right.
I'll say a little
Put it in
45.
our
Cool.
the receipt.
Cool. I like it.
So Dan, yeah, same line of thought there. Hey, as long as the
Love
Chiefs win, I'll be happy. But if we could do it 45-21, all the better.
Here we go.
Absolutely. Anybody else in the chat? Let us know if you have a prediction.
Yeah, drop them there, please. All right.
Yeah.
I also promised I will be fired off the podcast if this jinx it, improving us to 5-2. So I'll let you all decide if you're
Uh,
going to hold to that or not next week if we
no,
do lose.
Okay.
no.
uh,
Alrighty.
It's hard to keep up with all these like jinxes. Like we just gotta just make sure to hope that the team does what they're supposed to do.
right.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
man.
Please.
I'm not worried about what shirt I'm wearing anymore or like where I'm
No.
watching it. I'm done. I'm done.
The
That's how you know
socks,
you're
the
old.
shirt.
That's how
Yeah.
you know you've reached that age, right? You're just like, I am done with that. I'm fine. I
Yeah.
fully realize that the shirt and underwear I'm wearing have zero impact on Patrick Mahomes' ability to throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Like 10%. I'm not at zero yet. I would say
Okay,
10%.
10%. Oh man. Um, hey, this Thursday night game. Has there been an exciting Thursday night game outside of
Ours?
Chiefs Chargers.
the
That's
Chiefs
it.
the
Second
Chiefs
half
game?
Chiefs Chargers. Not the
Yeah.
first half, but the second half.
Yeah, like you said, even in our first
Uh,
half. This is Saints Cardinals is going to be this Thursday night game. I mean, are either of you bothered to turn this on?
You know what? Maybe. You know, that sounds like an interesting matchup.
No, I'm gonna be checking out the beaches
Yeah,
and maybe
all
the
right.
infinity
All
pool.
right. Hey, Rod, did you hear
So
Hung's going to
no.
Hawaii?
Oh no, I had no
She hadn't
idea.
brought that up yet.
Oh
Uh,
no. Okay.
No.
All right. So yeah. Yeah. Boys, I'm going to Hawaii.
All right.
Mahalo. Aloha.
Aloha. Oh man.
So, yes, if y'all see me wilding out on my stories and Snap this week, mind your business. This mama's deserved it.
That's
Oh,
radio
I love
charge.
that.
And I'm so excited.
Well
My boys
deserved.
and I were all going to be wearing our Chiefs jerseys on Sunday.
Awesome,
I
awesome.
already packed my flag to make sure that we fly in Hawaii and claim Oahu as Chiefs Kingdom while we are there. So
Heck
don't worry,
yes.
y'all. I got the gear packed.
I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm excited for this.
Oh yeah. So look for that, y'all. Look for that picture to hit social media at some point.
For the 6 a.m.
I'm
game,
gonna-
is that when it'll be
Yes,
on?
right? Right. Oh my gosh, I'm not. I think it's gonna be 10:25 Hawaii time.
Oh, because it is a 3 o'clock game.
So-
That's right. Okay.
Yes. So 6 hours difference. But yeah, so I for Red Friday, I think I'm gonna fly that picture. I'm gonna take that picture and put that one up
Love
of
it.
the kingdom flag in Hawaii. So there we go.
Love that.
But yeah, so of stalking and stories and everything though. I mean, we getting close to that point here, y'all?
Yeah,
Where
did you want to run
share all
down?
the deets?
I was gonna say, did we want to just real quickly run down the rest of these bullet points real quick, and
Yeah.
then we'll
wait.
wrap it up.
Did I
Wrap
miss
it up
some?
there.
Oh, sorry.
We
Oh,
got
it's
a couple
fine.
more.
No, yeah,
We'll-
you're
we'll
just
make it
trying to
quick.
skip
We'll make it
ahead
quick.
here.
Apologize.
Hung's
Yeah.
ready to be done.
I
She's like, I'm already
apologize.
in Hawaii. I'm gone. I'll see y'all later.
Refreshed. I had it refreshed because I'm on my phone, so I can't play that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, anyway, so I had to hit pause, and so it had not refreshed for me. I apologize. Let's go ahead. Y'all could go right ahead.
We got Zap. It's okay. Do either of you know? Is it Zappy? Is it Zap? I don't know. I should ask my coworkers in Massachusetts. Anyone in chat know? Anyways, he's playing in prime time, third string quarterback starting out there in prime time versus the Bears on Monday. I think this
Oh,
is going
really? That's the Monday night game?
That's a Monday night game. I bet this will be another blowout game where they end up winning by 20 plus points, just like they did this past weekend, the Patriots against
And
against
it's
the Browns.
almost worth watching because
Almost worth
it is
watching.
a third string quarterback Monday Night Football, right?
No. Why did
No,
they
no,
choose
no,
that?
still no?
Why did they
Okay.
choose that?
Okay.
The-
Okay, put me back.
Zappy. Dan
Zappy.
confirms Zappy. Zappy will shock the Bears. There we go.
Oh,
I'm
my
sticking with
God.
that, and we're moving on. All right.
All
My personal game of the week that isn't the Chiefs.
right. Jets.
Jets versus
Oh, dang.
Denver. I am so excited for this
Jets
game
by
now.
60.
Right? I am. Oh man, I am just. It's going to be so great. I can't wait. I cannot wait whatsoever. Man, and that's going to be at my company's field at Mile High. So
Oh,
be
okay.
a little Jets at the Mile High playing against the Broncos. And this game's not even going to be close. It's going to be a 30-pointer for sure. I no doubt about it. And then I get to make fun of all my coworkers Monday morning. So it's just so
Well,
excited.
Brees should do some work
Good.
for
You
me.
gotta have that.
Yeah,
All right.
Bree's gonna eat.
Yeah. And no interest in the primetime game. Steelers, Dolphins, absolutely no
Yeah,
interest.
I mean, somehow that's even more boring than the Saints Cardinals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, I mean, because what, they had to go back to Trubisky because
Right.
Pickens, what, was it a concussion or what happened? I forgot. Does anyone
Oh,
know?
you talking about the
Pick,
Steelers?
yeah,
Healers.
did I say
I think
that?
he
Yeah,
was
I
just
think
I
it
think he
was
was just playing bad. Or
minor.
was the concussion? Okay.
No, I thought it was
I
he
think
I
he
thought
got
he got
hurt.
hit
Yeah.
and they kept him
Okay,
out.
okay.
Yeah, for like a precautionary, they kept him out.
Yeah,
Right.
Mike Tomlin does this thing where he likes his players, so he doesn't force them to go back into games that they clearly shouldn't go back into, unlike certain other
Tua.
coaches in this league that may be
Oh,
unnamed. Yeah, the
Nice.
fact that they squeezed out a win with Trubisky is awesome.
yeah.
Hopefully, yeah, it's going to be crazy to see where the Steelers go with this, and let me tell you, the only way I'll know is by catching the highlights in the morning.
Absolutely.
There we
I,
go.
I will say, yeah, we can wrap it up after this. I would say one game I actually am interested in. I bet you that, I mean, well, I know it's not going to be televised, but I'm going to have to try to find a way to catch it. Texans Raiders at
Hmm.
3:05, the 1-3-1 Texans versus the 1-4 Raiders. I am interested to see
Just
that.
watch that
The,
game,
the toilet bowl. The toilet
man.
bowl.
Well, and I mean, what's his name again? Damian Pierce.
The
Shoot,
running back, right?
yeah, he's
Yeah.
looking dangerous.
Yeah.
They can really build a team around him there at the Texans. I'm really excited to see what he does to the Raiders. I can't wait to see if he's like the real deal and able to do it, or will Mason Crosby just play like the prime Mason Crosby and just kick his butt? Who knows?
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm excited for that. That's a good call out.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah, it's gonna be another good week. It'll be fun watching the Chiefs. Like I said, I hope this is a bounce back game. I saw Alan in this chat say this is one of those we should win games. I don't think it's gonna be like the Colts game. I think we'll be able to kind of get back to form in this one. And then Thunder Dan had some stats for
Zappy.
Zappy. Western Kentucky had 5,967 yards, 62 TDs in one season. Okay, so maybe
That
he's
is crazy.
somebody to look out for.
I mean,
Um,
Yeah.
could
the
be a
argument's Western Kentucky, but still,
okay.
even then, in order to drop 6,000 yards,
Yeah.
62 TDs, that's
Sure.
disgusting.
Listen,
Those
Dan,
numbers.
you sold
Exactly.
me. No, Dan, you sold me. No, no, seriously. If he's like, if maybe this is like the coming out story for like the one of the next big quarterbacks, like could be. I
Well,
mean, it's against the
I mean,
Bears.
we all
It'll be a
remember
spotlight.
we all remember how Brady got his start coming
Sure,
in for injured,
Right.
ends up GOAT. I mean, come on,
sure.
it's. Do you want me to stick that and keep the receipts for you, Raw? 5 years down, and Zappy's going to have
I don't
five
know.
rings. Is that
No,
what we're looking at?
no,
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 because Mahomes is
no.
gonna have the rings. Be
he's Mahomes.
quiet,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mahomes. Be
exactly.
no,
quiet.
no. Yeah,
Hello.
no. I definitely don't want to put that there for the Patriots to get any more titles. They're good. They're good. But no. We'll. All right, fine. I'll watch it. I'll watch it. I'll see what they do.
No, it's going to be fun. That team's in rebuilding. They're doing well rebuilding. They got this guy. Yeah, he was third string on the roster. Clearly, that was not going to be his forever role, and he managed to jump a few places a few days early, and good for him. It'll be exciting to see. So I know all my coworkers based out of Massachusetts are just hyped on him. That's for sure,
Yes.
and
All right.
it's the last thing they've been able to be happy about since Tom Brady left. So.
Sure. Well, Billy, where can they find you?
All right, find me on
Yes.
Twitter at Chef Doobles up there at the top on your screen, CHEFDOOBLES. I will definitely be live tweeting both the Chiefs game and the Kansas City Current game this Sunday. So please pay attention to me
Nice.
and love me and support women's soccer. Woo! Also go Chiefs. How about you, Hung?
All right, so come along Twitter, Instagram, any social media platform out there. You can find me by my first and last name, Hong Forrest, HUONG FORREST. Come for the inspiration, stay for the light, the passion, the mom life, the football, the coffee, all the things that I love. So
Rose,
follow along.
The
the
rose
beach,
tinted
the sand.
glasses
Yeah,
and her conquering of Honolulu. She said it here first. Remember,
absolutely.
she's about to
All
restore the
right,
Hawaiian
Raw.
monarchy.
It's intense.
Raw, tell us
Uh,
about you, and we can take the light off
Absolutely.
of myself.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Almighty Ra. You can find our show's Twitter page at SOT Kingdom KC. You can find us right here on YouTube, State of the Kingdom. Please like and subscribe. And of course, join our Discord. We would love to have you there.
Absolutely. We
Uh,
try to, be a little communicative during the game days on both Discord and Twitter. So Discord's a great way
Absolutely.
to get your opinion added into our conversation here on the weekly podcast.
Absolutely. Well, people, it's not the way we wanted to end the last week, but we're hoping to bounce back with this next one. So we'll see y'all next week,
Absolutely.
and go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.